I spent 24 hours farming for berries in Pikmin 2. Hef, you might ask. Why would you do that? Well, that's kind of the point of this video. I've conquered PNF 404 dozens of times. I've ransacked its ecosystem over and over again, and have extracted every last bit of monetary value from the planet. That's the game of Pikmin 2. There's simply no getting around that. But somewhere along the way, I stopped craving the hustle and the sheer carnage that comes along with it. Who was all of it for anyways? Let's chat about Olimar and Louie's employer in Pikmin 2, Hocotate Freight. The president and his wife, who frankly might be the shadow boss of the company, aren't exactly known for their fair and ethical business practices. Put yourself in Olimar's shoes for a second. He just spent the last 30 days stranded on a foreign planet, fighting for his survival, and as soon as he makes it back to Hocotate, he reports directly to his employer. We know this to be true, because Olimar still has the souvenir he salvaged for his son with him, meaning he didn't even get the chance to see his family. We find out the company is in an absurdly large debt because of the president's negligence, as he entrusted a massive delivery to the newly employed Louie, and the president takes both the SS Dolphin that Olimar just repaired, as well as the only souvenir for his son to pay off some of the debt. He then tasks Olimar and Louie to immediately return to the planet, to gather treasure in order to pay off the newly accrued financial burden. Absolutely diabolical. This is only one example of showcasing just how exploited Olimar is as a worker. But why is Olimar so loyal to this corrupt organization, you might be wondering? There's actually a treasure entry from Hey Pikmin that expands on this very question.
In my first week at Hocotate Freight, the president asked me to deliver a heavy satchel. When I arrived at my destination, to my surprise, my wife was there to receive it. It was full of coins. There was a letter inside too, which read, quote, "I thought you might like a bonus. Treat yourself to something nice," end quote. That was when I vowed to always stand by the president no matter what.
Listen, I'm all for spur-of-the-moment bonuses, and I can't be sure of how big a gesture this is in Hocotation culture. But for the job that Olimar does, I don't think this is enough. The president tasked Olimar with extracting over a century's worth of profits from the very planet that he so narrowly escaped, and the mad lad does it. And eventually, he goes on to make so much money for the company, the ship gets plated in gold, and the president installs a comfy chair and TV in his own cockpit, not in Olimar's. That's canon, look it up. After the events of Pikmin 2, if you can believe it, Hocotate Freight goes into even more debt because of a failed business venture by the president. This leads to the events of Pikmin 3 and Olimar being held captive by the Plasm Wraith. So I'm beginning to sense a pattern. The president screws up, Olimar comes in to clean up the mess, and he suffers as a result. But not in this video. Let's quit Hocotate Freight. What if we return to the Pikmin planet with a different goal? A much more relaxing goal, on our own terms. Now that I'm operating on my own as a free agent unburdened from the unreasonable demands of my employer... Oh, he's still here. Well, okay. Let's talk a bit about our new goal. We are going to be farming these berries in the Awakening Wood for 8 hours today. The planet has been absolutely drained of treasure, but there's one resource that just keeps growing back. No, not the Pikmin, although I like the way you're thinking, little capitalist. Labor is perhaps the most important resource of all. But I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I'm talking about the burgeoning spiderworts and their production of both ultra-spicy and ultra-bitter berries. Picflora bacae conditus, which you may know as the burgeoning spiderwort, are found in 3 of the 4 areas in Pikmin 2's campaign: the Awakening Wood, the Perplexing Pool, and the Wistful Wild. Sadly, that means for this video, we will not be visiting the Valley of Repose. The Valley of Repose doesn't have any of these burgeoning spiderworts, but here's a sample of an unused track that would play if you could farm berries here. Neat, huh? As we touch down in the Awakening Wood for our first shift, let's brush up on the facts about berry farming in Pikmin 2. Once the spiderwort reaches its final stage and grows its 5 berries, a countdown of 120 seconds starts. At the end of this 120-second countdown, no matter how many berries are on the tree, they will all regrow and this countdown starts over. A berry will only remain on the ground for 40 seconds. This timer is paused if a Pikmin's currently transporting it, but it does not reset. 10 berries make a spray, which adds to this counter. This will be the primary way that we'll measure our haul each day. I'm playing in a Pikmin 2 file that's already been 100% cleared, so I already had the labor force ready for our first day of farming. There are 4 burgeoning spiderworts in the Awakening Wood, the most of any area, with 3 of them producing ultra spicy berries and 1 of them producing ultra bitter berries.
Why would I farm berries for 8 hours? Am I mad? Maybe. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that blue-collar workers deserve their fair shake. I'm gonna have to get kind of acquainted with the timings and everything. These menaces are gonna be bothering us the entire day, which, of course, we know.
I'll be honest, I didn't go into this venture with a super solid plan, and neglected the 4th spiderwort closest to the pilgrim bulb on day 1 of farming. This one only spawned after day 11, and what kind of Pikmin 2 veteran would I be if I found myself in the Awakening Wood that late into the game? I started farming on day 16 in-game, so going forward to prevent confusion, I'm just going to refer to the day as the in-game day and not the actual day of farming, as if it's confusing me writing this script, I bet it's going to confuse viewers too. Doesn't really matter, but I felt the need to clear that up before we went forward.
Wrap it up, gents. Wrap it up. That's day 1. Did we get 6? We did get 6. Okay. So I was off on the bitter count.
The first day of farming was a success, but I knew we could do better.
Slowly but surely, our operation will improve. We're going to come up with a system. I mean, that's the whole idea. That's part of the fun. I think part of the fun is devising how efficient we could possibly be with it, you know? Red's also faster for mold, yo, Potater. You might be my #1 advisor, Potater. Not a lot of the places that we approach, you know, were willing to give us advice and funding for this endeavor. So knowing that there's people in my chat actively trying to make my business work, I think that's beautiful, personally. I think we've done pretty well here on day 2. Now, I do think there's room for improvement. You know, certainly our cycles could be better.
As I conversed with my chat about some of the ways we could improve our berry yield per day, disaster strikes.
There was an accident. Oh my god, we're gonna get a lawsuit. Oh, just on day 2, right when we started? A lawsuit? No!
PNF 404 is a dangerous place, and even though we came with a less violent goal in mind, the creatures of the planet will do everything in their power to put a halt to our operation. This family of Bulborbs is completely avoidable, so this was just sloppy work on my part.
Do we cover this up, or do we just take the hit and pay damages? Listen, we're an honest operation here. We're gonna tell the family that he died doing what he loved. Berry farming. And that you should have seen the other guy. Hey, day 3.
Despite this incident, we tightened up over the next 4 days in the Awakening Wood, getting progressively more comfortable with our daily route and discussing ways to optimize our berry farming even further. We were averaging 8 spicy sprays a day and 2.4 bitter sprays a day at this point, but still felt that there was room for improvement. So I decided to make an adjustment on day 22, and I'm really happy to share the results.
Today, folks, we're going to be trying out a new strategy. This hat is way, way over my headphones. We're going to be trying it with reds today, chat. We're going to see if our efficiency is improved. Now, I got to get these boys nectared. We have a little bit of time here in the beginning part of the day. You know, before the berries actually decide to grow, go and bloom, before the harvest.
I initially thought that white Pikmin would be the optimal berry farmers, as their quick movement speed allows them to deliver the berries to the ship faster. But the actual most optimal type for berry farming is, excitingly, red Pikmin.
Whoa! Damn, man, look at that, look!
See, as Pikmin attack the spiderwort, the timer for regrowth actually ends up getting slowed down, meaning the faster you get the berries off the plant, the quicker the berries will grow back. In this example, the Pikmin spent about 7 seconds attacking the spiderwort, and because of this, the berries end up growing back about 7 seconds late. Despite what this data point suggests, I don't think that the timer for regrowth is outright stopped by Pikmin attacking the wart, but just heavily slowed down. The berries will eventually regrow regardless of whether a Pikmin's still attacking or not. It'll just take much longer. I only know for sure that the timer doesn't outright stop because I spent an entire day watching this one white Pikmin whack away on the plant, and sure enough, the berries came back mid-attack. I determined that the spiderworts have 7,500 total HP, and that a berry falls off the plant after every 1,500 damage, or 150 slaps from a white Pikmin who does 10 damage. Yep, I counted each hit. And there doesn't seem to be a difference whether it's the first berry from the plant or the last. It's 1,500 damage per. I used only red Pikmin for the next 5 days in the Awakening Wood, and got an improved average of 8.2 spicy sprays and 2.8 bitter sprays a day compared to us using the white Pikmin. Their heightened damage compared to white Pikmin allowed me to spend less time damaging the plants, and increase how fast the regrowth timer counted down. Their slower carrying speed wasn't a big issue, as there was always a little bit of downtime between cycles anyway. Despite being pleased with the red Pikmin's productivity, I still felt we could do better.
Alright. Today we're going to be introducing purples into the mix. Now I'm going to go with 30 and 70. I'm going to introduce 30 purple Pikmin to the workforce, okay? See, yeah, this Pikmin management shit, it's just a time sink. Because I can't just leave them there. And then we take extra time to get over here. I'm thinking purples aren't the play, guys. I'm thinking reds are the play, guys. I don't know. It just doesn't feel... It doesn't feel nearly as efficient with purples already, and I haven't even really tried. No, I think... I agree. I'm not discounting the micromanagement. I think that's the reason that this is a test and not the standard. So far, the standard has just been red Pikmin. Red Pikmin have been excellent farmers and carriers. Purple Pikmin, however, they're terrible carriers.
Day 27, I decided to mix some purple Pikmin into the squad for some extra damage on the plants, but generally felt as though maneuvering with the purples was losing me a lot of time. I confirmed this theory on day 28, where I used exclusively purple Pikmin for a below average yield of 8 spices and 2 bitters.
When it comes to the end of the day, getting the berries back is tough for the purples. Because, like, I could try to attack this bitter plant, because it might have respawned berries. Yeah, it did. But I don't think we don't have time.
Throwing the purples up to this spicy plant was annoying, and their tendency to lag behind the active captain really proved cumbersome. So starting on day 29, it was back to utilizing 100 reds.
I feel more efficient with the reds. I feel faster with the reds.
It was time to make some real headway on our harvest. The remainder of my time spent in the Awakening Wood was all about developing consistency and optimizing my workflow. Our only goal on the planet is to farm berries, but there are some obstacles that the Awakening Wood throws our way to hinder our progress. Firstly is the mold that will form, preventing the spiderworts from growing. This would normally be the part of the video where I teach you about the mold, its effects, how much HP it has, and how often it comes back as a hazard. But honestly, I got nothing. There's next to no information out there on it, and really all you need to know is that it's best to get rid of it as soon as possible. The next occupational hazard are the ravenous whisker pillars, who try and gobble up the berries as soon as they sprout. There are only 2 who spawn here, and it's pretty easy to remove them from the equation, but every berry matters, and they can lower my overall yield if I'm not careful. Their presence on the warts also apparently speeds up how fast the mold grows back, but since we shoot them on sight, this property is not really going to get explored. Lastly are the pellet posies that spawn in the way of my Pikmin, making traversal using the C-stick slightly more tedious. No room for weeds on my farm, so we'd have to occasionally clear them out to give me some more space to work with.
Enjoying Pikmin 2 in a new way. Yeah, because we've already not enjoyed Pikmin 2 in so many ways. I've decided to enjoy it in a new way. This technically is a challenge run, as it challenges my will and patience to do the same thing over and over again for hours. Listen, that's literally Pikmin 2 Kaizo's Cavern of Chaos. 4 hours straight of just trying to get through the cave. I did it 3 times, by the way. Horrible. Farm berries instead. Now the mold's not here, no caterpillars in sight, we're good to go, folks. Ready for the day to start. It's like the stock market, you know? We're in the collection phase, right? We haven't gotten to distribution, or frankly, we haven't even gotten the branding or marketing. The mist berries are definitely adding up slowly. Yeah, we've had like 6 of them. And there's mold. Ew, icky mold. Get rid of that, guys. Greenhorn, help out.
I spent over 34 in-game days doing nothing but farming berries in the Awakening Wood.
Everybody who's played Pikmin 2 as a kid has always done this. You know, they've always just farmed. Just blindly, randomly. Whether here or in the Perplexing Pool. How's the morale? It's pretty good. For only having an hour left, the morale is pretty good.
It was a very peaceful area to farm in, and only 3 Pikmin died over the course of our shift here. I tightened up my play as I got better and better at farming, and my average spray yield per day noticeably improved. After committing completely to the red Pikmin, I was able to get an average of 8.5 spicy sprays and 2.9 bitter sprays per day, a definite improvement over my numbers earlier in the stream.
Ooh, 0.01 off, folks. My reaction time, sharp as a tack after 8 hours. Are you kidding me? That was tough. 1 berry every 7.46 seconds. Awesome.
With a grand total of 289 spicy sprays and 97 bitter sprays farmed in the Awakening Wood, the only thing left to do was to survey our next destination. Don't let the serene piano of the Perplexing Pool fool you, as it's by far the most dangerous area to farm berries in. Because we're past day 30, there are some additions to the pool.
He has all of the little babies with him. He's got 6 of them with him. I won't be able to do this. Oh, fuck. Right.
After day 30, and on days ending with 1, a bull bear and beady longlegs will both respawn to wreak havoc on my fields. The beady isn't too big of a hazard, but the bull bear can round up to 6 little bull bears before trying to ruin everything.
No! Oh, we lost one. God dang it. Oh, the whisker pillars are in full swing as well. Guys, day 1 has not started well. We knew there was going to be chaos. We knew there was going to be some issues. However, I didn't realize maybe how many issues we were going to encounter here.
As usual, our first day in the Perplexing Pool was all about getting accustomed to our new environment and figuring out the best ways to adapt our workflow. There are only 3 spider warts in the pool, 2 bitter warts across this log bridge, and 1 spicy wart in the water next to the Citadel of Spiders. Of course, this means that we'll be forced to utilize blue Pikmin for this one to try and maximize our harvest, so the route is already more complex than our laps around the Awakening Wood.
And we've already approached the tail end of day 1 of the Perplexing Pool. How's everybody doing today? Welcome.
Generally, the pool's a peaceful plot of land, but there are substantially more distractions compared to the Awakening Wood. The enemies on non-bull bear days aren't too much to write home about, the only ones posing any real danger being the shearwigs, but dealing with them constantly respawning every couple of days did eat into our harvest time. Initially, I was testing purple Pikmin again, just to confirm their inferiority, and yeah, with how much further away the spider warts are from home base than the wood, I pretty quickly switched back to using red Pikmin after day 58, as I just preferred them. Don't worry though, the purples won't be totally shelved. I'll make sure to break them back out on days when the bull bear and beady make their return, specifically on days ending with 1. So we're going to be dealing with them on days 61, 71, and 81 over our shift here.
There we go, we got him. We got him, boys. GG's. GG's. And we're back to business as usual.
Most days in the Perplexing Pool featured a mix of both red and blue Pikmin that skewed slightly red. I ended up carrying a few blue Pikmin with me near the bitter warts, as very rarely a berry would pop off the plant into the water, and we just can't have that. I quickly realized as well that the last cycle of berries sometimes didn't have enough time to get to the ship, so I ended up bringing in a small number of white Pikmin to improve our overall harvest. Mixing the white Pikmin in with the blues shouldn't have been challenging, but some of the terrain around the spicy spider wart is really whack, and the white Pikmin can slip into the water pretty easily if I'm negligent. However, negligence is not what caused our next workplace accident, as on day 56, we see our first instance of violence between coworkers.
Dude, that Pikmin tossed him so far away.
Our company does not tolerate discrimination in the workplace and is always striving to create an environment of acceptance and success. This blue Pikmin has since been let go from our operation, and we will no longer be working with them going forward. Thank you for your consideration. This very public shaming of a well-meaning employee didn't stop me from accidentally leaving a blue behind on day 58 and a red behind on day 60. Accountability for the worker, but not for the company. Ooh, my American heart is beating faster. Let's drive industry a little further, shall we? Day 61 with the Bull Bear and Beatty went off without a hitch. One more white Pikmin ended up drowning on day 66 from aggroing onto a skitter leaf and then proceeding to chase it into the water. The daily quota in the pool was 3 spicy sprays and 6 bitter sprays, but there were a couple days where my numbers would slip, most commonly from losing time dealing with the enemies. We were establishing a tight routine in the pool, but now it's time to talk about day 71. As I mentioned, both the Bull Bear and Beatty come back on days ending in 1, and after going out of my way to defeat the Bull Bear, I attempted to carry his corpse back while continuing my work farming. But disaster strikes. The purples I set on the Bull Bear went the wrong direction, and ended up getting ambushed by a squad of Dwarf Bull Bear. 4 purples are picked off here, but the carnage did not stop here. 3 more Pikmin were squashed under the feet of Beatty. This was already the most bloody day of berry farming, but it was about to get a whole lot worse. In my haste to make up the time lost from the enemies, I ended up accidentally neglecting the squad of purple Pikmin with Olimar by the bitter plants, and 23 of them are left behind at sunset. 30 Pikmin died on day 71, but their deaths didn't impact our productivity at all. I still hit the quota of 3 spicy sprays and 6 bitter sprays, despite the disastrous blow to our labor force. Oh well, I guess they're all replaceable anyways. I'll pay some reparations to their loved ones and move on.
We still hit our quota. It's what the perps would have wanted. You're right.
Continuing with our venture here, we would lose 1 more Pikmin on day 81, but not to the Bull Bear or Beatty, oh no. It was actually a red Pikmin who tripped and got stuck under the bridge to the Bitterworts. Over my 34 days in the pool, I lost a total of 37 Pikmin farming berries, but got an impressive haul of sprays.
I can't help it, guys. I can't. They're so stupid sometimes. I can't. He tripped. He tripped, guys. He tripped. No one of the big monsters lost 1 to stumbling. Frankly, that one's on him. I can't even, guys. That one's totally on him.
On average, I was getting 2.85 spicy sprays and 5.85 bitter sprays a day. This was the most complex mix of Pikmin I had to use for optimal farming, and I'm happy that the white Pikmin's increased speed proved useful in topping off our berry count at the end of the day.
An hour into the stream, you assume this was an elaborate bit. Now at this point, you're just impressed. See, the beautiful part about it is you're impressed, and it's also an elaborate bit. It's all natural, homegrown, organic berries. That is going to do it for berry farming in the Perplexing pool. I was 0.05 off. In the Perplexing pool, we have gained 200 bitter sprays and 98 spicy sprays.
There was only 1 more area left for us to farm in, and this one I was probably the most excited for.
The Wistful Wild. Let's get it.
See, the Wistful Wild features a unique variant of the spiderwort, featuring a hybrid mix of both sativa and indica berries.
Wait a minute.
Sorry, Freudian slip. I meant spicy and bitter berries. Anyway, the Wistful Wild has 3 burgeoning spiderworts which produce both these ultra spicy berries and ultra bitter berries. I was excited to do some testing to see what the average split of these berries would be, as logic dictates that it should be pretty even. It's not, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Here's what we're gonna do, chat. I'm gonna stick here with Shacho in the meantime and wait. And the whisker pillars are already in full freaking swing. Gosh dang it.
The Wistful Wild features a number of enemies who can potentially get in our way, including this decorated cannon beetle larva, the swooping snitch bug, this hermit crawmad, this fiery blowhog, and a group of shearwigs. But of course, the biggest threat to our success is... Oh, the Gatling Groink. Over the years, I've warmed to your destructive behavior, but your presence is not welcome on my farm.
I can listen for him, but I can't exactly see him, because he's gonna come over the hill. If he does come over to us at all. It's a possibility the Groink never actually finds us.
The Groink is pretty much unable to get to the actual farm itself, but rather proves troublesome with its ability to randomly wander over to the landing site.
Yeah, the prospect of the Groink scares me, guys.
I knew we would need a line of defense against the Groink, so on days where it respawned, I'd leave the President posted up at the base with 5 purple Pikmin to deal with the threat when it emerged.
Day 1 so far it's gone pretty good. The Groink has not shown his face to us at all. Maybe chilling with the orange Bulborbs. Very true. Very true. They could be homies. You know, it's hard to tell, but as soon as we hear a gunshot, that's when we know Shacho needs to step into action, okay? Shacho is our farmer with the shotgun. Olimar's tending to the fields. Shacho's sitting back in his rocking chair, making sure that no trespassers come to our farm. Old man with a shotgun. How's it going, everybody? Happy Wednesday?
Our first day in the Wistful Wild saw 2 red Pikmin die to shearwigs as they tried to pick up some berries dropped from the spider ward.
So now we know. Now we know they are going to be an issue if the berries bounce far enough over there. Yes, Corporate is going to go a little bit ballistic. We did lose 2 Pikmin on day 1. We got to have some type of Pikmin error in here. Why not have one little variable, you know, one little tiny little greenhorn fella? You feel me? You feel me, Chet? Whoa! Groink is groinking already! Bro said, day 2? Bet. I'm here right now. This is the shotgun that we were talking about, Chet. The purples have dealt with them, and now it's time to berry farm.
Because of how the spider warts are placed, there are 3 different spots that mold can grow, tripling the amount of time we have to spend dealing with it compared to the other 2 areas. I'd say that this had a tangible effect on our day-to-day performance, as dealing with the mold often ate into my time preparing for the next cycle of berry growth.
I am the berry master. You know that guy in Pokemon? You go to his house, you know, and he's like, I'm the berry master. Here's a free berry. That's me. I gotta be mindful about this mold, guys. Chill out, team. Chill out. Oh, it's growing. Bro, the mold is growing. Wait, did it kill all my berries? The mold grew and the plant went away. Oh, bro, the mold is a real threat today. Wait a minute. That's not good. Blues and yellows will not be making an appearance, but I believe that purples and whites both have their place in an optimal Wistful Wild farm. Chat. Chillin'. So, the last cycle of the day, I think I am going to try to sub in some white Pikmin just in case. You know? Because without the white Pikmin, we're going to be missing out on a couple berries at the very tail end of the day.
Days 87 through 90 were all quite peaceful, but day 91 posed a new question to our methods. Every 30 days, starting on day 31, a set of enemies not found in the Piklopedia spawn in the Wistful Wild, and they can be defeated for a massive number of sprays. The Ujidani. You know I'm talking about the Ujidani, right? It's 2025, Pikmin 2 is old enough to drink. This is not some well-guarded secret anymore. Anyway, yeah, so obviously the Ujidani can massively inflate our number of sprays if we decide to collect them, but I previously had not utilized the extra sprays generated by flint beetles, so why would I start tampering with the data by messing with the Ujidani?
Alright, Mr. President, you have my permission to go check out the Ujidani, sir.
To appease my chat, I ended up studying them, but did not slurp up any sprays. Our berries are grown all organically, okay? The next workplace incident took place on day 94, when 1 red Pikmin was crushed during an altercation with the decorated cannon beetle larva.
There's a Groink. Groink is back. Groink is in full swing. 0 days without incident.
The last workplace incident took place on day 103, when a Gatling Groink got the drop on Mr. President, eliminating all 5 purple Pikmin he had in his squad with a singular shot.
And he got all 5 of them in one fell swoop. I didn't have a warning. Bro. What the hell? And now we're late on our cycles because of this stupid Groink. Outside looking in, this just seems like mindless farming, but now that you're initiated, you can see the many calculated decisions being made. Yeah, no, it's interesting, because it isn't exactly mindless. Like, if it was mindless, it would be much tougher for me to sit here and do this for 8 hours. But because I do have to think about some of the things going on, and, like, make sure my workflow's optimal, keeps me on pace, keeps me on track. 1 bitter, 9 spicy? Yo, we broke quota. Quota's 9 sprays. We got 10 today. On the Groink Day of all days? Are you serious? Oh. We're back.
The Wistful Wild was the simplest area to farm berries in. All the spider warts are in one spot, and the most dangerous enemies are shoved to the back of the area that we never even have to traverse. This was much lower key than the relatively intense Pikmin management we had to do in the wood, and the occasional bombardment of enemies in the pool.
I think I'm building character. I think I'm growing as a person. It's giving me the appreciation for the finer things of Pikmin 2, like the president's yellow backpack. Cock-a-doodle-doo, ladies and gents. Time for another day of peaceful berry farming. Truly, I've been doing this for so long, I really have lost all concept of time. Like, it's 6:50 at night. It might as well be like 4 a.m. Like, for real. I experience dozens of sunrises and sunset every day now. As a Pikmin player, your circadian rhythm is shot. Bro, why does the treasure gauge look like that? Wait a minute, what? Did I just now notice this? How come it's not grayed out? Am I tripping? Did that just happen? Has it been like that the entire time, chat? It moved. Now it's gray again. The game's starting to fall apart after day 118. That actually might be the reason. Turn back on after I put reds in. Yeah, but why? Doesn't matter. Like, the fact that it did is one thing. Why is a whole other question. This has been Pikmin 2 berry farming. A double. Ooh, 0.06 off. Your boy is almost nice with it. Almost nice with it.
Only 8 Pikmin were lost over the 34 days of farming berries in the Wistful Wild, significantly less than the 37 in the pool, and including the 3 lost in the wood, the total number of Pikmin who gave their lives for this berry farming endeavor was 48. This felt surprisingly high, given I spent a full 24 hours farming berries, and things were peaceful 95% of the time. Day 71 really padded those numbers, huh? The Wistful Wild yielded an average of 7.88 spicy sprays a day and 0.85 bitter sprays a day. I didn't expect the berry split to be so skewed toward the spicy sprays, but there was only a single day where I made more than 1 bitter spray, and several days where I made none. As it turns out, the bitter berries are more plentiful in both the wood and the pool, and the data suggests that the Wistful Wild, despite being the most easygoing, is generally speaking the least productive area to farm in.
The total number of spicy sprays we farmed, 659. The total number of bitter sprays farmed, 327. Yep, that's all. This will be turned into a video. What kind of video? Only time will tell.
With the harvest complete and the numbers tested, our time on PNF 404 once again came to a close. So that brings me to the main point of this video. Why did I do this? Well, it's easy to say that this whole thing has been an allegory about entrepreneurship and setting your own goals, but that's not the entire story. I know a lot of people who watch this video can empathize with feeling undervalued or overlooked by companies who may not always have your best interests in mind. The point of this video is to say thank you for allowing me to do what I do. The idea that I could spend 3 days of my life clocking in and out of a fake berry farm in Pikmin 2 and have hundreds of people there not only to cheer me on, but to help me keep track of the data is beyond crazy. This fake work ended up becoming real work, and there's substantial value in it no matter how ridiculous the premise. And that's all because of you. So I'm thankful. I farmed berries in Pikmin 2 for 24 hours. And while I learned a lot about berry growth and the most efficient routes to take in each area, I also learned that I'm pretty darn lucky. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a different sort of video for me to make, as I didn't know what I was going to do with this footage until I started working on this script almost a full year later. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more like this.